Hello and welcome to Cherries Red Army. My name's Kirk and it's our latest stream here on the channel. Do subscribe, do hit the like button and get involved in the interactive chat. If you're a subscriber, be a subscriber for 5 minutes and you can get involved talking interactively with other fans, and we will show questions and topics if they're planted in there. And you can also discuss behind the scenes whilst I'm talking with the panel other topics that are you're sort of thinking about with regards to AFC Bournemouth, because a week in football, right, a lot can happen. We got a good draw at Brighton. It was a fantastic draw. I know we didn't keep another clean sheet, but that was a brilliant draw. Green light was given on Dean Court for works to start, so that was good news as well. So the refurbishment works to upgrade Dean Court is going to happen and is happening. Ted 10 already coming down. So Bill Foley's making moves happen again, just like he did with the training ground. So we'll see what happens with stadium developments over the next few months. We then got Alex Toff through the door before the game against Liverpool, and he looks like a really good deal for just under £12 million. And then Liverpool came to town. And I said a few days before, they're beatable, and they were beatable. Adley arrived for the Cherries. It's taken a while for Adley to really get himself in this squad and in this lineup, maybe because of injuries, but he took his chance really late in the day in front of the North Stand. He got the winner 3-2 to the Cherries. We've also signed another goalkeeper to help out Forster and Petrovic, and the big deal, the new king of Brazil is through the door. Rayan is here. I'm sure he will dominate a lot of the conversation. So let's have a good stream in the next hour. Let's be really interactive. And if you're watching this back on replay, thank you very much. Hit the like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments. There's only one place to start, though. There were a lot of tears in Bournemouth on Saturday night. Not from Bournemouth fans, from Liverpool fans. Well, are they still crying? Liverpool on Saturday. They're beatable.
No! It's 1-0. No. What is that defending, bro? What is that mistake?
It's a great run behind Kirkes. He just wasn't switched on to it. Jimenez just finishes past Alisson, and they did what they needed to do, Steve. They kept the ball in play. They took their opportunity when it arose. It's 2-0.
Scramble. They've scored. They've won it at the death with a long throw in. Bournemouth win it 3-2.
Long throw. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my God. We concede a goal at the end. Oh my God. We concede a goal at the end because we cannot defend a throw-in. We cannot defend a throw-in. We cannot defend the throw-in.
Long throw in comes. Flick the ball, bouncing round. Scramble. It's in the post. Off. Shite! Bournemouth have scored at the death.
Things you love to see on a Wednesday night after a Saturday night under the lights at Dean Court. Aaron, apparently they can't defend throw-ins.
Well, who knew? Yeah, who knew? Apparently we were fouling them, and it was down to the wind, wasn't it? I mean, Arnie Slot really blamed the wind for that one. I mean, it's never their fault. It's never, ever their fault, is it, Liverpool? But no, yeah, what a great night. I think we're all feeling a lot better than we were this time a week ago on various counts, as you did in your intro. So yeah, it's good times at the moment, and that was one of the ones that will live long in the memory.
Yeah, Matt, I just couldn't help myself. I'm not going to lie. Moments like this don't always come around, do they? I mean, we do have some good nights under the lights at Dean Court, but I had to take the opportunity on this stream, and I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, it's just brilliant to see, isn't it, really? You do take a lot of satisfaction from it, I must be honest. And it's still, I think it's the nature of the win, boys, isn't it? It's not just about beating Liverpool in isolation, a 3-2 win against them. It's the circumstances surrounding it, all the players that we had missing, and, you know, pundits and Liverpool fans and even players and management want to make a big deal about everything that went against them. Really, well, look at the players we got missing, and look at the what about the foul in the build-up and all things like that, and all these excuses they're coming out with, the wind, like Aaron says, and anything they can clutch straws at, really, if you like. But what about us? What about little old Bournemouth and what we've got missing and what we've had to go through in recent months, and being bullied by the bigger boys, taking our players off us, and the fight those boys showed out on that pitch. There's no question that they're playing for this manager 110%. They're giving it their all with everything that we've got at the moment. So it was just so fantastic, and we were owed that. We were due that one, boys, weren't we? After everything coming out the wrong side of all these entertaining games where it's ebbed and flowed, and we haven't quite got it over the line. I was just thinking as the game went on, surely it's our turn to nick something right at the depth. I know we did it against Spurs, and that was fantastic, but we've come out on the wrong side so many times, haven't we, this season? Just not been able to see games out, whether it's not won it and only drawn it or lost it. So, yeah, it was just amazing experience, really.
And we've also got Talking Cherry Simon Kay with us this evening. Now, a few years ago, Simon, it used to be Steve Cook having a shot with Ake putting it in late against Liverpool, if I can recall. This time it was James Hill with a throw-in and Adley putting it in late. Oh, that's good times. You just got to love these historic moments.
We're all a bunch of chirpy cherries again, aren't we? After kind of recent history. So it's nice to be back there. I think it all just demonstrates how much football is a roller coaster ride, because it only feels like yesterday that we were all, well, not all, many people were moaning about where we were at, where's the next win going to come from, etc. But then it turns up. And there's nothing better than seeing big team fans losing their beep to just us doing what we can do. And long may that continue. And I'm looking forward to more of it. But yeah, those moments at the end of games, 90+5, 2 home games in a row with a winner. Bring it on. It's the best.
Let's dive straight into the chat, shall we? So Mark Davies says, Van Dijk was saying he was fouled in the build-up to our winner. He was also blaming everyone else but himself for the first goal they conceded when it was all on him. That was quite funny. So the interview, similar to Slot, they're all sort of blaming everyone else but not taking any accountability. And Ben says, agreed, Matt, loads of that no-win run. We deserve points. Some of them were credible draws against better sides. So in the interactive chat this evening, as I said to you before, if you plant a topic that maybe you want us to discuss that's going with the rhythm of the chat and the conversations this evening, I will star them and we'll bring them in as we can if we have enough time, and we'll definitely talk about them. I do want to come straight to Aaron. Just want to mention Adley, actually. I think it's been a tough settling period for him. Not every foreign player can just hit the ground running like Milicevic, like Howson. Some of these players need time, and that's why I think we need to give Diakite the benefit of the doubt, and we need to give him another pre-season, and then let's review him really next season. But Adley's found it hard going. He's had not a lot of game time. I know he got a goal at Sunderland, and look, I don't think he had the perfect game against Liverpool. I actually thought he struggled with fitness, understandably at times, backing up defensively. But do you know what? When he got that winner, Aaron, and then the post-match interview, I thought, what a great lad. Like, his interview was absolutely perfect. He was just talking about how great it was for the team, the atmosphere, the fans. He looked like he was just living in that moment. And hopefully this is what you call a confidence builder.
Yeah, look, it's been a very tough start for him. He's had a player in Semenyo who played on the left for 90 minutes, week in, week out, never came off, rightly so, probably. And then, a whole host of players on that right-hand side, all left, switching. Brooksy, Tav obviously can play there. Gannon Doak put himself ahead of him, again, quite rightly so on form. And Jimenez has obviously been quite often playing on the wing quite recently as well. So it's been tough for Adley. But I've seen kind of some green shoots, as you say. I think he obviously scored at Sunderland. I thought his performance in the Cup at Newcastle was pretty good, actually. Along with everyone else, he played well that game. I thought at Brighton, again, we were down to the bare bones. We had no choice, but I think he was our only natural winger, really. Tav obviously played there against Brighton, actually, and then he came off. But with Brooksy injured as well, Cliver out, Semenyo gone, he was the only real noticeable winger against Liverpool. So in those kind of last 3 games, for me, he's lacking in his final ball. He's lacking in his final maybe decision making. But a couple of things that stood out for me with him. Number one, his defensive work is outstanding. He not just his willingness to get back, but his actually ability to challenge, tackle, to time to time right. A lot of wingers, can really not particularly tackle particularly well. He certainly can. He's actually got a really good leap on him, and I noticed that actually against Brighton. A lot of the long balls now without Semenyo in the team, and he was actually winning quite a lot of the flicks, and it was his flick obviously for the winning goal on Saturday from James Hill's long throw. So yeah, lots to work on, but as you say, it takes lots of players, lots of time to settle in from a foreign league. And I think there's a long way to go, but I think there's a player there. I really do think there's a player there. And I think this will give them the world of confidence now. If you're the person who scores the 95th minute, literally the last kick of the game, winner at home against the champions, then that's going to give you a lot of confidence. So I hope he has and deserves a run in the team. We've obviously brought a player in we'll talk about, and hopefully players will come back from injury sooner rather than later. So yeah, but I think there's a player there. People have written him off, but they're not for me.
And also, if you look at the goal back, which I'm sure we all have, there's an angle where he only has one place he can get that ball in the net, Matt, and he found it just under Alisson's arm. And I look back and think he could have shot that 5 more times and it would have hit Alisson's leg, arm. How he got it in, I mean, he's just trying to hit the target. Of course he is. He's just trying to find the net, but it snuck through. Does it always help as well with regards to our performance at Brighton, which was very different to the one against Liverpool? Look, we're really squad thin at that point. We conceded late, but it was always going to be a tough game at Brighton, and we were always going to be hanging on. Me and Aaron said we didn't see Brighton not scoring, but that was a really good draw. Adley obviously played a part in that as well. I know he pulled up with cramp, but getting those back-to-back games in for him, it's just a really positive moment for him that can only be a good thing for him, and that's really what I wanted to highlight this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a young player that's obviously come over to this league, and it will take time for him to adjust. He hasn't had that many minutes, has he? So you have to cut the lad some slack. And I think he's not afraid to come out, is he, onto the camera and win, lose or draw. I remember the Everton game. I was actually in hospitality for Everton home. So I got a couple of tickets there from Sam Davis, and they wheeled him out afterwards. Out of all the players, they could have, after a really poor performance, he's got there's 150 people in that hospitality lounge. After a really poor performance, everybody fed up, sitting down, slagging the performance off, slagging the team out. They could have wheeled out Tyler Adams. They could have wheeled out Lewis Cook, who was captain, anybody, Brooksy. But it was him. He was the one that stood up on the stage and gave a post-match interview. And I thought that was really admirable. I really he went right up in my estimation after that. For such a young lad to come out and do that. And as you've already touched upon, Kirk and Aaron, his work rate is phenomenal. Nobody can question his work. I think it's the defensive work that he does, the work that he gets through. So he's a typical Iriola player, isn't he, really? This is what Andoni likes. He loves his wingers to track back, to make challenges, to link up with the fullback in our half of the field and do the dirty work as well as the attacking side. So, yeah, he's lacked a bit of confidence so far. So hopefully, as you say, Kurt, that goal will give him the confidence. He wouldn't be able to repeat it. If you asked him to repeat that again, there's no way he's doing it. But he's earned it, hasn't he? And the team have earned it by persisting, by keeping going, by never giving up, by showing that mental strength that they did and that cohesion to stay together throughout that game. Because let's be honest, boys, a lot of teams would have capitulated, I think, at 2-2 with no real options on the bench and would have ended up losing that game. And probably a lot of Bournemouth sides of the past would have as well. And we'd have ended up coming out the wrong side. So that the character and the mental strength that we've shown to get over the line and keep going right to the end, we earned that opportunity and Adley earned that opportunity. So there's more to come. There's a lot more to come from him. As Aaron said, there's green shoots there. And I've certainly not given up. I haven't given up on any of the players we've signed. I think you've touched upon Diakite. I think he needs time. We can't do that. We've invested a lot of money in these players. We can't just write them off after half a season because they're young lads coming to a new league. There's a lot to do, a lot to learn. So, yeah, onwards and upwards as far as Amin Adley's concerned, definitely.
Steve Connor in the chat. I'm worried we'll expect too much too quickly from our January signings. Iriola ball is complex to learn, and we'll talk on our signings, especially one, very, very soon. But Simon, I want to stay on the theme of youngsters and the players that are really adding to this moment in the last week or so. Alex Scott. Now, John Spark, get well soon, John Spark. He's not feeling well tonight. He was going to pop on, but he's not feeling well. So get well soon, John. Alex Scott is someone that we very much had to lean on again, and we've had to do it before. No Tyler Adams. I know you're a big fan of Lewis Cook, and Ryan Christie played a massive part when he came on as well the other day. Alex Scott, though, John Spark wanted to ask someone's opinion, Simon, so I'm planting it on you. Where does Alex Scott end up if he continues in this form in the summer?
He leaves.
No more leaves for a bit.
And I really genuinely, out of all of our players that we currently have on our books, if I was to pick who's the next one to leave, it would actually be Alex. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. Age, how well he did for the England under-21s, how he's played and applied himself all this season. I think the game the other night showed him in pretty much all of his true colours. I think it's quite interesting when you watch Alex play with Tyler as opposed to when he plays with Lewis. And Tyler and Lewis offer slightly different things. And I think we all know that. Tyler basically is very positional, happy to get the ball, does things in a certain way. Lewis's engine has always been something that I've been incredibly passionate, probably isn't the right word, but I've always loved his work rate. And sometimes when you're in a two in the middle, you need someone to really feel confident that they're behind you if you're playing in Alex's position, that they'll almost do more of the work. And I think Lewis gives Alex a little bit more freedom to do what Alex does really well. Take the chance to go forward a bit more, just like he did when Senesi found him for the first goal against Liverpool the other night. You don't tend to see him do quite as much of those kind of moves and runs when he plays with Tyler Adams. So I think Adams and Cook offer slightly different impacts on how Alex tends to play in terms of his freedom to express himself to his full potential. So I'm a big fan. I do worry that he'll be the next one to leave. There have been the odd rumour, and I'm not saying that just from our current sponsor in some part of the world that put something out in social media, but there have been some others floating around. But I've been impressed, and long may it continue.
He loves the Grealish dive, though, doesn't he? I mean, there was a few on Saturday that were kind free kicks to us. I mean, I'll take them, but he does love it. He looks for them when he can.
We need players that do that from time to time, and I don't think we do it enough. You know, our manipulation of the officials based on the laws of the game, if I can call it that, and our ability to exploit the dark arts. We're probably one of the worst teams in the league for taking advantage of the dark arts when perhaps we should, whether that's pulling a player back when they're running in on goal, if you haven't, not on goal, but, you know, those midfield situations, those little kind of things. So whenever Alex can win a free kick, he often does it in moments when he kind of need one to slow the game down or to basically impact the opposition a little bit.
Yeah. Matt, Josh says, Ryan Christie changed that game on Saturday night, back to his old self. Great to see. Now, it's weird because I was sat next to Aaron at Brighton and Ryan Christie came on, and I think he was on that bench purely because we didn't have bodies.
Yeah.
And he didn't look right. I mean, Aaron will probably back this up. He didn't look right. He looked like he was still carrying something. He wasn't fresh. He was thinking about a lot, so his touch was off a little bit. Fast forward a few days, he comes off the bench against Liverpool and he looks like a player that's not had an injury that he's been carrying for a long time. And when he's like that, and I have said that we need to find the next Ryan Christie because he's getting to the wrong side of the age group that we like. But when he's on that, he was a game changer the other night.
He was the impetus and the energy we needed at exactly that point. Because when it goes 2-2, I was extremely concerned. I thought, oh, no, we're going to end up losing this now because we're getting overrun in the midfield as the game goes on. The changes they're making, you see their bench, see the players they're bringing on, and you think, bloody hell, we're struggling now, we're blowing. And so he was the exact impetus. And so Iriola utilised him to perfection, the perfect time to bring him on. And we wrestled back control because if you remember, boys, at 2-2, we suddenly became the dominant team again. We were the team driving forward to try and win it. We weren't just sitting back thinking, Christ, we're going to have to contain this now and try and see this out for a 2-2. We went for it again. And I think Christie himself had an effort, didn't he, that was tipped over by Allison. So he was the exact thing that we needed. And you're right, it was the old Ryan Christie that we saw there, back to the running, the energy. He dictates our tempo, doesn't he? He always has dictated. He did it last season, every game. He dictates the tempo, and he did exactly that. And I don't think Liverpool could deal with it. I don't think they knew what hit him. I think they were expecting to, control the football match from there on in and maybe nick a winner. But I think it shocked him a little bit when Christie came on, and it was perfect. It was exactly what we need. So the next challenge is, keeping him fit, keeping him at that level, and now slotting him into that. As Simon's already highlighted, there's a great partnership formed between Lewis Cook and Alex Scott. They complement each other really well. I do agree with that. I think Cook gives Scott free rein to express himself a lot more by just doing the basics. Lewis Cook in that number 6. Tyler Adams is a bit more expansive. He likes to control the midfield a bit more, even get himself forward from time to time, where Scott has to sit back, and they complement each other that way. So it's now, how do we fit Ryan Christie back into the midfield if we're going to do so on a regular basis, which we should. I mean, he was player of the season really last season, and we have missed him badly. So that's the challenge now. But it was just great to see on Saturday when he came on, the impact that he had immediately. It was immediate, wasn't it, at 2-2, and that was pivotal in us winning the game.
And someone that's also going to raise a few questions probably in the next few weeks as he gets fitter and adapts to Bournemouth, Aaron, is Alex Toff, who got on the pitch for a debut. I thought he was a little bit nervous, actually. I thought him and Christie were getting in their way a little bit, and more probably Alex getting in Ryan Christie's way. But Alex is trying to understand the style, the play. So I think he was just trying to get out the way on a few occasions, but good to get on the pitch. You can see there's a good build there as well. I really like the build of the player. I mean, he looks like he's got technical ability, which we've seen and heard about. So I'm hoping to see really good things from Alex Toff in the next few games. Maybe at Wolves, he gets a little bit longer off the bench potentially. But yeah, there's going to be competitiveness again in this squad once we get players back and these players in. Yeah,
I mean, I think we can read nothing into his cameo against Liverpool. I thought he came on and looked a bit lost, to be honest with you. Didn't, as you say, didn't really know where to position himself.
Yeah,
I'm not reading anything to that. He didn't do anything. He looked like a lost little boy, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not reading anything into that because he had 2 days training, probably one, less than that, to even learn the way he came on, because we literally were running out of legs, and he wouldn't have been thrown in so early. But yeah, I think he's comes very highly rated. I'm very excited to see him develop over the weeks and months ahead. And yeah, it is a dilemma because, Tyler Adams aside now, we're pretty well stocked now in that centre midfield situation. And it's the wingers really where we're short at the moment. So yeah, I mean, as Simon said, Cook and Adams, Cook and Scott are playing out their skin the last couple of games. Tyler Adams for me is an unbelievable player, and when he's back fit, has to be in that team. And as Matt said, Ryan Christie, player of the season last season, we don't realise how good he is until, number one, he's not there, but actually you don't realise how good he is until he gets back on and shows what he did against Liverpool, and that's how good he can be. So there's so many different combinations, and Tort is obviously the future, the future of potentially Ryan Christie when his age catches up with him, and as Simon said, if Alex Scott was to go in the summer, I'm hoping we can have maybe another season out of Scott. I just think Semenyo is one in a generation type player who's clearly a world beater and is already proving it for Manchester City. For me, it's every time Scott's taken a couple of years to get going, and he's having his best spell for us and a consistent run of games and showing us what he's all about. Then if he was to go in 3 months' time, and it's kind of like, it's just, we've got to try and keep hold of some of these players now. For me, for another season or so, and for their development as well. I think you can always go to some of these, as I said, unless you're a Semenyo who's clearly world class and can fit into any team. Some of these players go to some of these clubs and don't always get in. So yeah, it's really, really good now that everyone's kind of available. I'm sure there'll be injuries and suspensions and stuff, but yeah, that centre midfield is looking really competitive, and any combination of them can do the job.
Couple of hellos in the chat. Joining us late. Stephen Dyer says, sorry, he's just arrived from Newcastle to Hamworthy, staying at my sister's. So hope you have a good time locally, Stephen, in Bournemouth or local to Bournemouth. Weather not great down here at the moment. Lots of floods. I was stuck where I am today, so it was a work from home. And TalkFan TV, Simon says hello to you. And I know that I'm getting a nudge from Rayan, our new signing. He wants us to talk about him very, very soon. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Hi,
Rayan.
Yeah. Okay.
High
John's
and
not here.
high up in the sky.
I'm not going to take any advice from you. I'm going to wait till I see John Spark and I'm going to ask him how it's pronounced properly. Simon, I got to take this opportunity as well to talk about Alex Jimenez, who very quickly is wrapping up the appearances to hopefully get him through the door permanently. He's on loan at the moment. He potentially was injured in the warm-up on Saturday against Liverpool, which was a real concern. He was really struggling. I think it was ankle. Then I think he picked up a knee injury. Didn't matter. He had Kirkes in his pocket, along with the help from Adam Smith. Kirkes didn't see the second half. Was that a good thing? I mean, it was good to see Jimenez score, but yeah, grass isn't always greener.
I feel privileged to be the first out of us to talk about Alex Jimenez because he's already a bit of a ledge amongst the fan base. His attitude, his commitment, his drive, determination. I mean, how many superlatives can you use for someone who's come here on loan? You say don't fall in love with a loan player, but this one doesn't really matter because the deal's pretty much done. He's played enough minutes. Whatever the terms of the contract are between Lazio and Real Madrid of who gets how much, it's a done deal. And I can't wait for this guy to join our squad. I think there's been a lot of calls for a replacement Adam Smith. Just briefly give Smudger a massive shout. I think he's been brilliant in the last couple of games. But to have a replacement Smudger, if we go back over the years, Smudger sometimes played right midfield as well as being the main right wing back or right back. Very, utilizes his ability and his experience all over the pitch. And Jimenez just has everything to be that long-term replacement. And I think that's where he'll fit into the squad perfectly. But his speed in transition and his attitude and his strength, I can't wait for him to join the squad full-time. Very excited.
Yeah,
Matt... I disagree with Simon on that. I don't think he's a long-term replacement for Adam Smith because I generally think he's going to be the best right back in the world, and I can't see how we're going to keep him beyond the season. I'm being deadly. As Simon said,
not the best right back in the world. You disappoint me.
As Simon said, he has got everything, literally everything, and I cannot believe we're getting him for this amount of money. And
have we tried him at left back yet, though?
I would be amazed if he's with us for longer than a season. He's that good.
We need to see if he's a full Adam Smith. We need to try him at left back for a few games first and see if he
Aaron basically agrees. He just spun it a different way.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so agree. I love the guy. I just yeah.
Matt, Stephen Dyer says Jimenez is class. He is class. He's quick. He can do a job at right back. He can do a job offensively. I like the way he can break down the lines himself and take three players out of the game, and that really disrupts the opposition. He's an exciting player, and as Bournemouth fans, we've always wanted to see exciting football. We've seen a lot of exciting football this year, as you said earlier, not always gone in our favour, but we're off our seat. I mean, if you're in the North Stand high enough, you're standing anyway, but you're standing with a lot of enjoyment watching this player.
Well, that's what all we want as football fans, isn't it? To get off our seat. That is the one reason, it's one of the main reasons why we go to a game, isn't it? To watch our club. We love our club, but we want to be entertained, and that means we want to be off our seat. And he is one of those. That's the biggest accolade and compliment I can pay him at the moment. Is he gets you off your seat with everything that he does. He's just absolutely phenomenal. I still think he's got a little bit of work to do defensively. I do think there's work to do there. But naturally, he's the same as Kirkes was. He's an attacking fullback, isn't he? So his first thought is to get the ball and drive forward with it. He offers us a lot. He offers us so much offensively, both as a right back and a wing back and a winger. That's how good he is offensively. So there is work to do defensively, I would say, but that'll come. I mean, he's improving already. At the start of the season, I had my doubts about him defensively, and he's already shown massive improvements defensively as a right back. And he's so versatile, and I love the way that he comes inside as well. He'll take two or three players out. He'll beat them for pace down the wing. He can do everything. And the one thing that he lacked so far this season was a goal. And then what do we get on Saturday? I was so pleased to see it. A fantastic finish where he slots it under Alisson and into the bottom corner. What a run and what a ball. Full credit to James Hill for the vision and the pass and carrying that ball forward, keeping hold of it and that vision and that threaded through ball. It's fantastic. And then you're thinking, oh no, he's offside. He's offside. I just know he's.
It was close.
It was a tight one. It was a really tight one, wasn't it? But what a player. Yeah, what a player. I agree with both Simon and Aaron, obviously. I think he is a natural Adam Smith replacement. But let's be honest, he's going to go on and be a better player. He's going to play at a higher level than Adam Smith ever did. I think he has got that about him to play for one of the biggest clubs in the world, which is where he's come from, really. I'm quite surprised that Milan have let him go. I really am quite surprised. Maybe it was the player's ambition. Maybe it's the agent and the player that have driven that ambition to get him out of there and get him to the Premier League. But, he's already at one of the biggest clubs in the world, really. But he's gonna go higher, and his ceiling is there isn't one. He goes right to the top. So he's another huge asset from a business point of view as well. For the money we're going to pay for him and the return on the investment is going to be astronomical, isn't it? Really.
Can't wait.
One of the other things, sorry to interrupt, Kirk, is we all love a player that gets under the skin of the opposition.
Yeah, he's got that about him as well. He's a shithouse.
We don't have enough of those kind of players. And I think in recent history, we've needed one. You could probably argue that since Harry Arter, there probably hasn't been one. And obviously Jimenez will have to learn where the boundaries are of how vocal he gets in certain situations. But I think he's got that intelligence. But I just love the way he's willing to get stuck in and get verbal, get the crowd up. Yeah, we all need that connection, and I think it's great to have that in him as well.
It's a fair point. It's like he's going into battle, isn't it? Every time he takes the pitch, he's going into battle and he's winding up.
He screamed at Matoma in that video.
Yeah, I loved it.
He did it against the other day with someone else as well.
Against Kirkes. It was against Kirkes. It was against Kirkes because I saw someone say, "You only won a tackle." I was like, "Nah, mate, he's winning the battle. He's winning the duel."
If we had him last season. Jimenez House and Zavani Kirkes. Can you imagine that?
Oh.
And only one of Jimenez and Kirkes appeared for the second half.
That says it all. That says it all, Kirk, doesn't it?
So,
I think also, just to finish on that point, as I started it, I might as well finish, is it helps the opposition and how they view us. I think sometimes Bournemouth can come across as being a little bit soft, if I can put it that way, and we don't have enough about us in enough departments on the pitch. And I think that psychological impact of having a player like that who doesn't give any its is fantastic, and psychologically does often have a bearing of how certain moments in a game can go.
And Stephen Dyer says, wonder if we'll give him a 5-year deal with a 100 million buyout clause. And then what we might do, Stephen, the following season is we might give him an extension of a year and then reduce the buyout clause. No, we won't. We won't make that mistake again. Simon, I thought I was finished talking about Brighton and Liverpool because we do want to talk about new signings in this stream this evening. But Steve's messaged me, Steve Hensman. He wants me to mention one more guy, and I think we have talked about him in the last few weeks. But I'm gonna pass this one over to you as well, Simon, as one of our guests this evening on Cherries Red Army, and that's James Hill. £1 million English pounds. Look, everyone fit and everyone settled. I'm not sure. And it might be unfair right now if he's in the top two of the centre-backs. But he has got he's deserved his slot in the last few weeks. And when we've absolutely needed someone to do a job for us and really help us, he's been there.
Yeah, and I might sound a bit different to a lot of other people here, but I'm not surprised at all. I've always felt that James Hill's got it in him. Like a lot of these players, he's just had to bide his time for his opportunity to get the amount of minutes that he requires to demonstrate and show what he's genuinely capable of. We wouldn't have signed him if we didn't think he could do the business. He's been a fantastic squad player. He's stuck to his guns. He's always been available whenever he's been required, whether it's to play in midfield, like in the pre-season tour in the summer, whether it's to come in at right back, whether it's to take that position at centre back. He's just been phenomenal. I mean, away at Chelsea was probably one of his better games if you're going to pick one out. but they've all been very good games. So I've not been completely surprised. Sometimes there were moments when Diakite or Milosavljevic were playing, and I'd be thinking, can we just put James Hill on the pitch? Because he just feels a little bit more composed and calm. He's much wiser than probably his years dictate. So very proud of the guy, and he's got a fantastic long throw as well. So long may it continue.
Looking forward to it. Right, let's have a look at the league table after that result at Dean Court. So we're currently 13th, and I tell you what I love to see, boys, and everyone in the chat and everyone watching this video, unbeaten in 3 back-to-back home wins and a very winnable game on Saturday against Wolves. We might touch on that at the end. If you're new to Cherries Red Army, do subscribe. Thank you to everyone joining us live right now. Do hit the like button. It really, really does help us. But we're just going to take this opportunity to take a small 15-second break. That is so you can hit the like button. And then Simon's got something very interesting to tell us about happening in April. If you like golf, hang around. Go on, smash the like button. It helps this video grow between now and the next few days. Now, in April, Simon, Talking Cherries have a golf day on the 14th of April, 2026 at Iford Golf Course. You've got a golf day, Simon. I'm going to hand over to you because you know everything about it. What I will try and do is I will try and put the link in the chat now for anyone local who can attend this event. Get involved. It's for charity. It'll be a great day, especially if you're good at golf, not good at golf, and you just want to have a go. I don't think it matters. Simon will tell you if it does. But I'm going to hand over to you, Simon. I'll see if I can put the link in the chat.
Lovely. Well, yeah. So we basically, for a while now, have been wanting to put on a golf day at Talking Cherries. There's a few of us. Obviously, Kirk, you've played golf with us regularly with Damo and Hensman.
I try.
A game of golf who plays golf or can play golf. And Kirk, you can play golf. So don't underestimate your abilities. You've got some talent.
I just can't putt.
That'll come. A little bit more practice. But anyway, so 14th of April, it's an early start over at Iford. We're targeting 72 players. We're doing what's called a shotgun start. Everyone starts at the same time, about 8 a.m. in the morning. We've basically done a good deal with Iford. They've been brilliant in terms of pricing, in terms of a welcome drink and a bacon butty and then a nice buffet and a raffle afterwards. We've already got some really nice raffle prizes, got more raffle donations coming on board. And we're aiming to generate a few £1,000s to basically cover off costs for mental health first aid training for our Talking Cherries members in our community and a couple of other mental health initiatives that we want to support in the local community as well. So whether you're an individual and want to play, whether you want to come as part of a company, a team of 4, however you want to do that, please come along. And if you're not a golfer and you want to pop along and just basically be there for the social after the golf and for the raffle and the buffet and the chat, then you can do that. There'll be more information on that in due course. We will have special guests. There will be, for those that want, a beer buggy that we've been donated. So you'll be able to have a beer on the way around or a soft drink if that takes your fancy. So please spread the word. Let's get as many people along as we can and let's make some money.
So I'll be all over this. Do get all over this if you're interested and you're able to attend the event and get involved. Great cause, great people, Simon and the team. Talking Cherries, do follow them. We've also reposted that information on our X account. It's on the Talking Cherries X account. And I'm sure if you follow Talking Cherries on Instagram as well, Simon, I'm sure it's there as well.
Yeah, we'll be continually sharing it now and again over a period of time and sharing other information on special guests and other things that will happen as we get closer to the date.
And I may, if I'm allowed, bring my camera. I might do a bit of footage. We might find Simon looking for a ball in the river, maybe. So, yeah, I may get involved with that. But
pretty likely on one of those holes on that course, I must say. My ball is in that one.
Yeah, it's the long par 3, isn't it, on the turn? I think that's the one that gets you.
Can't stand the thing. Can't stand it.
Right, we got to move back to football. Josh, Aaron, your son is on my case to talk about Rayan, or however you say it. We've had a couple of other signings. So Alex Toff obviously confirmed. We've also signed a goalkeeper. We'll come back to him in a moment. But let's get straight on talking about the Brazilian prospect. I mean, Aaron, this looked like it was a tough deal to get done at one point last week. It was on, maybe it wasn't on, then maybe there was a breakdown, maybe he's getting married. Finally, the wheels started to move, and he's through the door. He looks very exciting. Again, I think like we all do, we all go to YouTube, we see what we can find out about him. You have to take that with a pinch of salt. What I do like about him, though, very, very quickly, he looks really quick. He looks really strong. I think we have to take the Brazilian league again with a pinch of salt. But I do think that's a league you have to be strong and powerful. You know, these types of countries, you have to be built for battle. And I think he'll bring that. And then what I also like is he's mainly left-footed, likes a shot outside the box, but he looks like he's got goals in him. And that's what we need.
Yeah, look, very, very exciting. Delighted to get over the line. There was a time when it looked too good to be true. I mean, so many clubs have been linked with him, and you know, but the experts in Brazil have talked about him as literally one of the next best things to come out of Brazil. This isn't just like a flash in the pan, Takelo Ranti looking good on YouTube type player. This guy is for intents and purposes the real deal, and it's a massive coup that we've got him. And slapped lovely to see us slapped a huge release clause on him as well. Yeah, he's big and strong. Look, he is, I guess, the medium to long term, hopefully short term Semenyo replacement. He obviously can play centre forward, but he's been playing mostly off of the right wing. Like as you say, left-footed, but can use both feet. Very similar to Antoine Semenyo. I've seen lots of footage of him shooting and crossing with his right, shooting, crossing with his left. Equally strong on both, and as you say, lightning quick and strong. Something we haven't, had. I think. Look, Semenyo's obviously got a huge amount of strength, but he was no slouch. But this guy is quick, quite a lot quicker than Semenyo is. He's rapid, so that's exciting. That's all really exciting to have someone, and also a bit of physicality up there as well as speed. So he's got everything about him. As you say, a little bit wary that we just don't put too much pressure on him. It is, as you say, it's the league. It's different to the Brazilian league. He's only 19. But a certain junior Krupi was playing in the French second division, and I was thinking, how is he going to step up? And if you got talent, you got talent. So yeah, look, I think people can't expect miracles straight away, but I think pretty soon this guy will be and should be a regular in our starting lineup. I'm sure he'll be obviously on the bench on Saturday. I imagine. Don't think he'll start, but I don't think it'll be long before he does. And yeah, I'm very, very excited about him.
The thing is, Matt, right? And Aaron's absolutely correct, all right? But I worry about you, Matt. I worry about you because we need to give this lad time. But I know you just want to get on a European tour and have a beer somewhere. I just know it.
Been itching to do it for years, Kirk. I'm still 21 in there. Yeah. Yeah, I think I spoke on the last stream about the balance between finding players for the future and those that are Premier League ready now, because we need to strike that balance. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. I think he's ready made now, and I think they will blood him and they will give him quite a lot of minutes, because I think, as Aaron said, if you've got the talent, he's been in the Brazilian league, which is Vasco da Gama. That's going to be a challenging league, so you're going to need to be physically at it and technically as well. So you'd like to think, as other clubs have done, you look at the likes of Chelsea when they bring these players in, they blood them straight away and they fare very well and they're a threat and they offer goals and assists. So you'd like to think that he'll make a contribution fairly immediately. That's obviously what the hope is, but that he is that long-term investment and long-term replacement for Semenyo as well. So I think it's clever recruitment. I mean, the fact that we've got him over the line with so much interest and the furore surrounding him, the rave reviews, the fact that in Brazil they're saying they're so excited about this kid. Full credit to our recruitment team to get that deal done, because it was a very, very complicated deal by all accounts. The nature of it, the different parties involved, the different percentages of the transfer fee and all of that. So to get it done is a huge feat, a huge fillip for us. You just can't believe it, can you, really, that we've got a player of this magnitude coming to little old Bournemouth for 30 million quid. And I often think, I said to the missus the other night, imagine what I don't know what type of crowds or stadium Vasco da Gama have got. But I just saw the welcome video. He gets to the training complex and thinks, cool, yeah, this is a proper club. And then he gets to the stadium. And he's like, what the hell's this?
I mean, maybe they put him in like an interactive arena of the new Dean Court and said, this is what it's gonna be like in 1-2 years.
100%.
Maybe they sold him.
Yeah, they've sold him now.
For all we know, Steve Fletcher just took him to Sandbanks and he was sold. I mean,
yeah, well, he was involved. Of course, he was in the welcoming committee at the stadium. In fact, I think he put his hand out and said, "I'm Fletch." And so he's like,
I saw that.
I scored the winner against Grimsby. That's the reason you're here, my friend.
Yeah, my hero.
Simon, it's exciting. I mean, if this player's as good as he's being talked about, how we've got him, I have no idea. And this almost squashes the concern of Andoni not signing a new deal. How are we going to bring players through the door?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I was going to say is let's go back a few years. And if you were to say Bournemouth's going to have an elite talent pathway, you'd have laughed so hard.
Exactly that.
The ribs would have hurt. So to be in this situation in what in essence is such a short period of time, our reputation as a talent pathway, if I'm going to stick to that, is now massive. It's worldwide because of the transfers we've been involved in. So I think that's massive props to everybody involved in getting that together so that these kind of players don't just look at Bournemouth now as third level to fourth level Premier League team. They genuinely want to be here. So that in itself is brilliant. From a squad perspective, it's been a number of years since we've had someone who has out and out raw pace. Junior Stanislas in his key years, when he didn't obviously have his various different injuries, would often be that impact player. You could stick a ball over the top, and he beat many players at the back in a sprint race. So Rayan has that. And I think that's something that we've been missing. So I'd expect him to go into the squad and be to use for those kind of situations a lot. There's a lot of high lines, a lot of low lines, which we come up against. And I think his raw pace will be really useful and something we've been missing. So ultimately, all of that is really exciting. And I've forgotten the question that you asked me. So ask me it again.
You've forgotten the question. And now I think I've forgotten the question. Aaron, what did I ask?
I think you answered the question anyway. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Moving on.
He was just this is what Rayan's doing to us. I'm probably not saying it right, but this is what this. Okay, all right. You'd have to say it like that though.
Just think your auntie is called Anne and say hi.
Hi, Anne.
I know. There's a meme that one of my kids was singing about this new signing. I'm not going to do it here because it's very cringe. But I was like, no, that's not going to work as a song. So move on. We need to talk about goalkeepers. Petrovic still hasn't kept a clean sheet for a few games. He has been a lot better though, so we need to see more consistency from him. Another goalkeeper through the door though, Matt. And talking of another note, Mark, he wants you to talk about Petrovic versus Mandas. Now, Christos Mandas is our first Greek player to ever play for the Cherries, so that's exciting stuff. I say exciting stuff. We can't really talk much about him, Matt, because I don't think he's really played in Serie A, but he is of a good age. Clearly, the club think a bit about him because he's on loan with a potential to move permanently. Now, we know we've got Forster. That was a late decision because of Will Dennis getting injured. But we do need to apply pressure to Petrovic. Does this signing do that?
100%. 100%. It's a difficult one to comment on at the moment because I haven't seen enough. No one's seen enough of him play, Manda. So we don't really know what type of keeper he is. But going on what I've read and what I have seen and the look of the keeper, what he's saying, how he's coming across, he's going to be a keeper that commands his area. And that is something that we are lacking at the moment because it's the one thing that Petrovic is not doing well enough. He's shot stopping, Petrovic. He's made mistakes, but he's reasonable. You know, he's shot stopping well. But we need a keeper really that's going to marshal that defence and command his area and claim everything, not just punch it. but unconvincingly at times as well, in panic, and go missing under the crossbar when he should be picking up balls that are delivered in the box, because we're conceding far too many goals from balls going into our box and not defending them by the, whether it's the centre halves or the keeper. You need your keeper to be commanding in those situations behind you. If you haven't got that confidence, which I don't think the centre halves and the defence have at the moment with Petrovic, then you need it. So he's obviously been signed maybe as a different option in some ways to Petrovic, but he's going to apply massive pressure to Petrovic now, and I think Petrovic knows that. I actually thought he had a reasonable game against Liverpool, Petrovic. I thought he did things that he hadn't been doing. He was trying to command his area. He was trying to claim balls instead of punching them all the time. There was a bit less panic, particularly when we're trying to defend. I thought we actually defended really well as a team throughout the whole game, really, which helped. But Mandas is a different type of keeper that's going to really apply that pressure to Petrovic, because that's what we need. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about Will Dennis, but he's a young keeper who's been out on loan a lot and has never even featured in the first team. So that tells me that probably never will. Could be another Mark Travers situation at best. And Fraser Forster was obviously an emergency and panic signing in case we needed it. That's not a long-term solution. This Mandas appears to be that. So time will tell. I don't think he comes straight in, Kirk, if I'm honest. I don't think he steps into the number one spot on Saturday. I think Petrovic keeps that. But it's going to keep Petrovic on his toes. So then there has to be a balance there. We have to manage that as well, because we don't want Petrovic's confidence to be shot to bits like it has been, and in panicking even more because he thinks, I'm under pressure here, I'm going to lose me place. And that leads to further mistakes. So we've got to package it up and frame it in a way that, obviously, naturally, at a top-level Premier League club, you're going to have two high-class quality keepers competing for the number one position. We haven't had that, and we probably haven't had it for too long now. So that's what it offers us, and that's what we need. So time will tell, and it'll be interesting to see how what develops and how it develops, really.
Aaron, realistically, though, if he's on loan, we're not sure if we're going to activate it permanently. Time will tell, as Matt says. Realistically, though, do you see him getting a chance? And on what grounds? Because Petrovic, for all of his weaknesses, he's been fit and available, which has been good. Do you see a scenario, though, where this goalkeeper gets a chance to grab that number one spot?
I think potentially, yeah. I don't think he would have come here to sit on the bench again. His goodbye messaging and video to Lazio looks like it's pretty much a given he's going to be coming. He's like, thanks for everything, farewell, and blah 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 blah. Doesn't look like someone who's just coming on loan. I did see that a lot of Lazio fans wanted him to be their goalkeeper ahead of whoever their goalkeeper is. I'm not sure what his name is, but they were crying out for him that he's very highly rated, and he didn't get a lot of they've come to get the manager to try and get him in the team. And he obviously got frustrated and wants to go elsewhere. Apparently he's got a gigantic kick as well, like one of the biggest kicks in the game. So that'd be interesting. So yeah, I think he has to have a chance at some stage. I agree with Matt. Petrovic has actually bucked his ideas up the last 2 or 3 games and has looked pretty good. So absolutely, Petrovic has got the shirt for now. But I think a couple of dodgy games, and it's I think we've now got someone who can step into the position potentially. So yeah, I don't know when that will be. I'm hoping it won't be for a long time, because it means Petrovic is obviously doing really well.
Yeah. We may have just lost Aaron. Yeah, Simon, I'll just continue with what Aaron was saying there, and I totally agree with all of that. But competitiveness is what we need. We need competition in each position, and now we've got that in the goalkeeper position, because really Petrovic has had an easy ride because he knows his position's been safe.
Yeah, and you just hit the nail on the head there. Healthy competition is good competition, and maybe the fact that this transfer was on the horizon, that could have had an impact on Petrovic's recent performances. You never know, butt your ideas up in certain departments because there is competition on the horizon. I do also think from a team business perspective and how you manage different departments on the pitch, I think our goalkeeping department, if we're going to call it that, has been difficult to manage, if I can put it that way, over recent years. It's always seemed to be a little bit messy in comparison to other departments on the pitch. So I think this is long overdue in terms of solidifying what that structure is. And as much as we all miss Mark Travers and what he brought to the team, I think the goalkeeping department always wanted something, maybe a level up from Mark. Not that there's anything wrong with the levels that he achieved, but to have a different kind of blend of goalkeepers. So I quite like the look of the blend of these two. And I think it's long overdue that we have a more tight, competitive goalkeeping department. But he won't come in straight away. But I think if Petrovic has one or two off games, he'll definitely be put in for a chance.
Aaron, don't worry. Simon, finish your comment off.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened. I lost connectivity.
He's done a better job anyway. Don't worry about it. So it's absolutely fine. You're back now. Very, very quickly, though, Matt, are we done? Do we need anything else? Because there are a lot of players to come back from injury, and we hope they come back soon. We know some are more long-term than others, but do we need anything else?
Yeah, I mean, again, on the last stream, I said I'd be disappointed if we didn't sign a centre-back purely because of our defending this season, which has been at times very, very poor. I mean, we have got four centre-backs. And maybe
well, the problem we got now, Matt, is only one left-back because Solaire's injured.
So we potentially might need some cover there. But the
centre back, Smith, it's all good.
Yeah, the centre back positions is where it was obviously highlighted that we were struggling. We were struggling to defend, as I've just said previously. Balls in the box, positionally. Diakite was having a nightmare. We turned to James Hill. James Hill's done a phenomenal job, as I think Simon said earlier, and rightly so. He's stepped into the breach and he's been fantastic. We've got a very young Senesi aside. We've got three very young centre backs that are obviously got a lot of potential. Do we need something for the here and now? So possibly. I mean, is there anybody on loan that we could bring in? You look at the Championship. I'm not saying when we brought in Gary Cahill, I'm not saying that would be an option. But that type of player, do we need that experience at the back, a leader? Someone that's been there and done it at Premier League. But they're not easy to find. So I think it is a juggling act. We're obviously short on tens and wingers, and Andoni's gone on record to say we need cut. We've lost Clivert to injury for the season. We've lost Semenyo. We've got Tavernier injured. We've got Brooks injured. We need help in those positions. So I think that's what the focus has been on, and I think what Andoni and maybe the coaching staff are saying to the recruitment team is maybe we can manage the defensive side of things. With Tyler Adams coming back, with the midfielders coming back now, Ryan Christie, Lewis Cook in there, that can shield our defence a bit. Maybe we can work with the defender. We've got a new keeper, obviously. We've strengthened in that department. Can we work with these four centre-backs that we've got? Because we've already spent a lot of money, haven't we, in that area? I know we've brought in a lot of money for Zabani and Housen, but we have invested in those areas, and we've got four centre-backs there. So it'd be interesting to see. I suppose that's the one position that you would highlight. But as you say, Kirk, left-back looks a little bit light now with Soler injured. So it is a balance of that, and then we've got to balance the PSR side of things. And are we sailing close to the wind on that with the money that we're now spending on offensive players? So it is all a balancing act. I would still expect one more at least to come in. I know we're linked with this player now, the Inter Milan winger
Enrique
Hernandez. Is it Hernandez?
Enrique. Yeah. Another Brazilian, isn't he? So he's a winger, another winger. So that's another one, loan with an option to buy. So that's another 18 million quid, boy. So you're thinking, bloody hell, we've got Jimenez to fork out for, him to fork out for, the keeper, Rayan. We're spending a fair bit of money. Is there any more left in the pot? It'd be interesting to see. But at least one more to come in still, I think.
Yeah. And Sammy's evening all late to this stream, but we have got score predictions coming in a bit for Wolves. And I do wonder, not really knowing enough, and I'll put hands up, always said it, I don't really understand the whole financials of transfers and football. I know some people do within the community of AFC Bournemouth. I don't really get it, but I do wonder if we're trying to spend now before that whole change from PSR to squad ratio happens. And I think that's what's happening. So I think we're really going to be affected by that new dynamic. Steve Connor says Enrique is playing for Inter tonight, not looking very impressive so far. I think he's only got one assist. But look, we've got to trust the recruitment team. They're the guys that watch these players week in, week out, and the scouts, etc. So
Can I just
watch
say
this space.
Can
Yeah,
I say
you
one
can.
thing, Kirk?
Only one though.
Well, we mustn't forget two players that have come up in this call tonight as playing really well, James Hill and Lewis Cook.
Yeah.
It only feels like yesterday that neither of them were in the match squad. So we have to bear in mind that our squad could ultimately get fat, if I can put it that way. And there are going to be some very talented players, excuse me, that aren't going to get in the match day squad. How's that going to look? So as much as we can always think, let's get another winger, let's do this, let's satisfy Andoni, there's got to be some element of let's be careful here, unless they've already planned for certain outs in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or unless they know that Tav and Brooks might be longer than we potentially hope. They might be out for longer than we think. Yeah.
Do you know what's really interesting, Simon? You say, if I can say it that way, and you comfortably get away with it. I think if I had said that, I probably wouldn't have comfortably got away with it the way you did. Don't repeat it, but you got away with it.
Thank you. Onwards.
And upwards. Let's talk of upwards. It's been a great stream and we'll be on for a few more minutes. Thank you for everyone joining this live. Over 50 on YouTube. That's absolutely fantastic. So if you hit the like button, we should have at least 50 likes on this video. So please do that. On Saturday, then, our next Premier League game is against Wolves. Another opportunity, another opportunity for us to do a double over a Premier League opposition team. It's at the Molineux. Wolves have found a little bit of form of late. I think they only lost their first game in January the other day against City. So Rob Edwards is getting a tiny little bit of a tune out of them. Now, in the chat, you can start putting your score predictions in there. Go for it now. So score predictions for this Saturday at Molineux. Bournemouth taking on Wolves. What is your score prediction? Now, why they do that, guys, let's get your thoughts going round the room and then I'll get your score predictions afterwards. And we have a good record there. I think we've won the last 3. Earlier on in the season, we beat them at home, which was the first time we'd beaten Wolves at home in the Premier League. Simon, early thoughts a few days away on Wolves Bournemouth Saturday.
I would love to go running off to the hills with 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, but I'm not quite sure it's going to work out that way. I go into a lot of games really confident, Tottenham away and also the ones earlier in the season. But this one, I think Wolves do look much more organised than they have throughout the whole season. I think it's going to be a tight game. I don't think it's going to be one of our goal fests like a 4-4 away at Man United. So I'll probably predict a 1-1. I think Krupi will get back on the score sheet, but we always let in a goal. I think they'll get a penalty. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw, and I think it will be a tight game, but I'll be happy with that. I'm not, going into this feeling now that we have to get a win at Wolves because we've turned the corner, or it certainly feels that way.
I mean, they're clearly down, Matt. I mean, they need to face the fact that's a long way back from where they are. They're still like 7 points off even getting out of 20th. So it's a long way back for them, but they seem to be playing with heart, trying to give something back to the fans. Probably behind the scenes, they're preparing for a championship season to try and bounce back. Of course, every club does that when you get relegated. There have been some tight games at Molineux. We should look at this fixture as a must-win because we're on a good patch of form. We've got players coming through the door. Confidence is there. Fans are high. And players are wanting to prove their value again. So your thoughts on the game Saturday?
Yeah, the fact that they're clearly down, as you say, makes them a very, very dangerous proposition for me. They've got nothing to lose. They really have got nothing to lose. They're at home, in front of their own fans, and expectations have risen a little bit lately. I've seen a marked improvement from Wolverhampton Wanderers as a team in the last few games. I'm not saying that we can't go there and win and that suddenly they become world beaters. They haven't. They've obviously got flaws. There's a lack of quality throughout the squad, and obviously, lack of confidence in certain areas. That's why they're bottom of the league. But there has been massive improvements. They've got this the young striker that they've got now has got huge potential. He looks a threat. Wang, I think, has come back into the lineup. They sort of play a bit of an unorthodox system, particularly at home. It's almost like a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2. So I agree with Simon. I don't think there'll be too many goals in it. I think Rob Edwards will set them up to frustrate us, and that they'll pick their moments to try and pick us off. So it's a really, really tough proposition for us. We've been on this little mini run, haven't we? It's a good run. Hopes have risen, expectations risen for us again, and you want us to kick on and carry on that momentum. And I think this is a real banana skin for us on on Saturday. I really do. I think with the new players coming to the squad, they've got to integrate themselves in. That doesn't always happen immediately. It can have a bit of a negative effect before it has the positive one sometimes. With all these players coming in, you think, right, we're going to hit the ground running. Look at what we got now. We're going to smash them 4-0. Not for me. No, it's a really tough proposition. Obviously, I am expecting to win the game, but I'm not expecting to win it comfortably. I would go, if I was hazarding a guess, I would, as a score prediction, I'd probably go for a 2-1. Because I think as Simon said, we're just not keeping clean sheets, are we? We never look like we're going to either, particularly away from home as well. So I think we'll concede, but I think we've got enough about us to maybe nick it 2-1.
Aaron, he's gone early. He's gone early with his score prediction, 2-1 to the Cherries. He's gone for it. Aaron, before you give me your score prediction, have you thought about Rob Edwards? And I'm thinking about this off the top of my head. So I assume the last time we played against him as an away side, we lost at Luton. Does that play a part?
No, not for me.
Good.
No.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Luton. I mean, going to Kenilworth Road, it's always tricky. They were very much in the race back then. I think. No, I echo a lot of what Simon and Matt have said. I think they have vastly improved. Still only one win. I think it's still only one win, isn't it? But they're not losing as many games as they were, and they're obviously a bit more spirited than they are on Pereira now, and it was just kind of cajoled them a little bit. I think it does work in our favour that the fact that West Ham and Forest and Leeds are winning, it might be a little bit disheartening for them because they picked up a bit of form. But then even the teams above them, West Ham have won 2 in a row now. Forest went and won at Brentford and got a draw against Arsenal. So their upturn in form isn't really having an effect in them trying to stay up. And the other side of the coin is that a draw is absolutely no good for Wolves whatsoever. So they might be a little bit cagey, as Matt said, to start with, but at some stage they're going to have to, come at us and leave some gaps. And I said that a draw's no good for them. They've got to go for the win, which could play in our favour because teams that don't sit back too much and want to come out and play a little bit and have to go for a win. Could play enough, could work for us. I think obviously it sounds ridiculous. Don't go. The first goal's massive because if they do a goal up, then they might sit back in, make things difficult. But I am kind of, I am quite confident for this one. I think whether it's a bit of the post Liverpool and post Tottenham and Brighton, but though not so much Spurs, but Brighton and Liverpool, and even when we played Arsenal, they're all far superior teams to Wolves, and we scored goals. 2-3 goals against them, so a couple of goals against Arsenal, 3 against Liverpool, and could have scored more against Brighton as well. So I am confident. So you want my score prediction?
Oh, I'll go on then. Let's have your score prediction.
I think it'll be 3-1. I think it will be tight. It won't be a comfortable 3-1. It'll be 2-1, as Matt said, and then we'll score right. We'll make it finish the game on the 88th, 89th minute.
Sammy's Cherries Red Army famous scoreline. Right, let's dive in the chat then. Let's get those score predictions out. And some of you guys think that it's a tight game. Well, Morgan doesn't think it's a tight game. He thinks it's a thrilling 4-0 to the Cherries. He's not the only one to go for that. I'll come back to that scoreline in a moment. Josh thinks it will be 5-1 to the Cherries. Talk Fan TV's going for the famous Cherries Red Army 3-1. Mark Singleton 2-1 to the Cherries. Ben also matching Morgan, going for 4-0. Steve Connor, Wolves are improving. Let's take nothing for granted. 2-1 to the Cherries. Mark Cole is also going for 2-1. 3-1 to the Cherries. I think that is from Sean. That's the famous one. And there is the creator of that scoreline, 3-1, many years ago now on Cherries Red Army. And that's that score prediction from Sammy. Mark is gone for Prime Barclays Entertainers, so it's going to be 4-2 to the Cherries. We got Cab 7695 with a 2-2 draw. Stephen Dyer is giving Petrovic a clean sheet. Let's go. 1-0. We've had one of them before at Molineux. We've got Josh Young with a 3-2 to the Cherries. Chris Hubble's also matching that 3-2 to the Cherries. Thank you so much for getting involved in the interactive chat on that part of this stream. And that just leaves me and you, Simon. I'll go first. We should win this. And it's time, Geordie. It's time for a clean sheet, son. 2-0 to the Cherries. Over to you, Simon.
Well, I kind of gave my score earlier. I went for the 1-1.
Oh, you did.
If it gives anybody any positivity, I have not got one score prediction right this season so far. We're probably going to win.
Good. Simon knows nothing, but he knows a lot. if that makes any sense. Right, do hit the subscribe button, do hit the like button, and we finish this stream. It's been a great hour, lots of positivity, which is what we like. We know our seasons are going to ebb and flow. We know we're going to have peaks. We know we're going to have troughs, but I think Matt said it earlier. This is what we want. We want to be on the edge of our seats talking about the Cherries. We're in a really good, small amount of form, and if we can continue that this Saturday, that'll be absolutely fantastic. We do finish generally Cherries Red Army streams. Simon, your thoughts for the fans for the next few days, leading up to Wolves, your final thoughts?
Enjoy these new players. Give them some time. Let them bed in, and let's carry on riding up that league, up the Ches.
And don't always get their name on the back because you don't know how long they're going to be here. Isn't that right, Matt?
Yeah, exactly right. I think, it's going to be an interesting few days. Still some business to potentially do in the transfer market. That's going to be really interesting leading into Wolves. But like Simon said, we've got to give these players some time. And look, we've had our bad run, boys, haven't we? We've had our bad run. We're due a good one. If we go on a good run, is Europe still within our reach? Absolutely.
Stop it.
100%. It's there for us. If you look at our run of fixtures coming up, no game's easy, of course, but we've got a fairly favourable run of fixtures coming up. Why not? Why can't we go on a good run with strengthening the squad, try and get players back as well, keep them fit, go on, keep that momentum going and go on a run. Europe's there for us, boys. Bill Foley said it. We're going. Bratislava next season.
Aaron, it is always sort of there, but then Zach and Josh start talking about Champions League and then it tails off again.
Well, it's funny, before the Spurs game, we're talking about looking over our shoulders and West Ham beginning to win and Leeds and Forest doing, getting wins, and we're looking over our shoulders, and suddenly now a couple of wins and we're looking above us again. So it's all good. And Matt's right. Look, on paper, football's not played on paper. We played a lot, apart from Arsenal and Newcastle, gone to all the top 9 away game teams away from home already. So still got to play the bottom 3 away. But yeah, it can work the other way for us. So yeah, lots to play for. It's so tight.
It is
4 or 5 points off 6th place. So yeah, it's Bill's doing it again with his spending, and Semenyo's gone, and we have got 7 points since he's gone, haven't we, or something like that.
And we just need to wrap this window up, and then we need to get Andoni in a room and talk to him about that contract. And I thought we might have got away without someone mentioning that I forgot to get a guest player ready on this stream. I'm so sorry. No guest player this week. I'll have it back next time. Stephen Dyer's a massive fan, so I know he's going to be very disappointed, but he's had a long trip to Hamworthy, so he'll probably get over it very, very quickly. Simon, last thing coming to you. Stay in the Premier first, lads. Mark Singleton, Sammy said, is there a Talking Cherries tomorrow or next week?
It is tomorrow, so I'll be back chatting. Anyone wants to come and say hello, all the details are up on the various different social media sites. Come say hello at 8, check in and carry on talking.
There you go. Got that question answered for you. What an amazing stream. Really enjoy these ones. We've had lots to talk about, lots of young players, talking about Liverpool fans' tears, so much. So enjoy the rest of your week leading up to Molineux. If you go into the game, get behind the Cherries and give everything, because there's a winnable game there. I know there's a lot of fans that follow Cherries Red Armies that are across the world, Australia, America, and everywhere else. So get behind the Cherries where you can. But do follow us on our next stream. We'll let you know in the community, in the social media. So do stay informed with Cherries Red Army. We'll let you know when the next stream is and where the next content is out. And subscribe, hit the notification bell. You won't miss a thing. From me, Aaron, Simon, and Matt, though, that's it for tonight. That's it. That's that for this one. And we'll see you on the next one. Look after yourself. See you soon. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries.
In Oldie Pub.